Hi, this is me, Rick Harsh. I am a writer, and I'm the chief editor of Corona Samizdat. I've been doing semi-regular. Figure that one out. How often is that, Rick? I don't know. I'm not always the brightest candle in the menorah. Sometimes because they forgot to light me. The problems I've got. I am not a happy man. I'm joking. I am very happy. I'm so happy with the way that people are responding to that book. And they're right. It is a great book. Um, I have a policy. If anybody wants me to talk about anything, and they ask, I do it if I can. I mean, I had someone ask me, can you talk more about your nonfiction books? And I don't know if I did that one yet. I got to ask John Dixon, if my co-star in the upcoming Elevator Principle. If you haven't seen anything of it, go to Instagram on Rick Harsh, and you'll see a tremendous scene put together by a brilliant director named Sasha Muniza. But anyway, back to the thing about trying to respond to. I think most booktubers take very seriously when someone asks them to write to talk. I'm tired. To talk about a certain subject. And this guy, Steve Carlson, who keeps, writing hateful shit, and and then deleting it, so that I don't know why. Although the clever thing would be so that I respond, and then people don't know what I'm responding to. Well, he's twice now brought up an incident that occurred in my life. I have I don't know if you'd call it a mental illness. A lot of people think I'm mentally ill, especially at the post office here. Yesterday I sang All the Young Dudes to them, and they kept looking around at other customers, and I don't know, I just finished the song. And Billy rapped all night about his suicide, how he kicked it in the head when he was 25. Speed jive. Don't want to stay alive when you're 25. I have to learn that for the film. So that's why it was in my mind. Anyway, the mental, emotional problem I've had in my life, I'm happy to talk about, because I know other people have had the same thing. And a lot of people still feel there's a stigma to this kind of thing. My problem, in short, has been having been raised in a suburb of Chicago where everything was all the same, and you want to get the fuck out. I dreamt of monkeys and lizards and jungles, and all my childhood I wanted to live in these spectacular places that were very different from Chicago. Meanwhile, on a deeper level, I had something, I'm not sure, I will call it a back to the womb complex. I always wanted to go somewhere, and then when I'd go, I'd have a nervous breakdown. I'm going to call it a nervous breakdown because I think it's what happened when people had nervous breakdowns. One of the worst happened when I went to Tokyo. I moved to Tokyo after I got out of the writer's workshop. And I really wanted to live with my friend there and work there, and write a book. And what happened was I got there on a Friday night, and I spent almost all my money, $2,700 out of $3,000, which I had saved, flying the fuck out of there. And it was the 50th anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima. And I'm telling you this, like I said, not because Steve Carlson wants me to. Not because I'm proud of it or I think it's a great anecdote. It's not painful anymore, but it sure was then. My anxiety was so bad I could feel it in my arms. It was just horrendous. I had drugs. I had prepared for months for this because I knew I had this problem. I didn't want it to happen again. I did everything I could to prevent it, and it was so powerful that I don't know how Carlson, I don't have it memorized how he describes it, but it's probably close. I was a wreck. I was a weepy wreck. I remember my great friend who I was going to live with in about a week had this ethereally beautiful girlfriend, and they came to visit me on Sunday, the day of my leaving. And she was sitting on my bed. I was in bed, frightened and whatever, you know. And I said, well, by the way, Taro, your girlfriend is very, very beautiful. And he said, stay here then, Rick. I will find one just like her in Roppongi tonight for you. But when you're in that horrible a shape, ethereal beauty, you can maybe notice it if it's ethereal and beauty enough, but your need is something that is beyond your control. I had to go home, and I did. I went home, and I didn't stay there long, and I moved to La Crosse, Wisconsin, and I lived with a friend in a fake artist studio. It was actually just a former stairwell and now a storage room, and paid like $45 a month for rent. And I finished Billy Verite. It was one of the most productive 4 months periods of my life. And so whatever happened with Carlson is, largely in his head. Or it's in his head and spewed out here. But the thing about Carlson is he was always upset with me. Like every 6 months he'd break up with me over something that I didn't care about or know about. He had a lot of difficulties. And they were the kind of thing that if he would talk to me, closely as a friend and say, I have this problem, will you talk with me? Of course I would do it, and I wouldn't repeat it to others. I wouldn't think it was funny. I wouldn't think it was a joke. But he always thought that I didn't care enough about him. But he never had that conversation with me. He never said, Rick, I am this. And so I was going to tell you the dark, deep secrets of Carlson. But all I can say is that his mental and emotional problems were more attenuated than mine. They lasted and lasted and lasted. And so he couldn't see the world straight. Like I couldn't see the world rationally when I was in Japan. Who in their right mind could not wait 1 week for their friend to get an apartment and then stay there and give it a shot? Well, when you have this kind of sickness, you do what the sickness tells you. And so he's been doing what his sicknesses tell him in small ways for 30-some years. The truth about our friendship, in one way, one important truth, is that in the book I first got published, The Driftless Zone, he read it before it was published and he loved it. Got published and he began to hate. I hate the word haters because it kind of makes them all seem like they're the same. But he became a hater of Rick Harsch. That was in 1997, and he's still at it. What was my crime? I got published. I was always a friend to him until I upset him in ways that I could never have predicted. and then we would break up for 6 months, see each other. We really liked each other. He was a great writer, but he didn't write. I mean, maybe that wasn't his thing. He liked to sing, and he wrote a couple of extremely good songs. He wrote a song about me, and I was always disappointed because I know how funny he could be and how dark he could be. He could have really written one that would have ripped me good, because you can always write a song to rip somebody. But he didn't, and the song was just dull to me. He has said that I got upset when he played it, even though I asked him to play it. But that's not true. I was never upset by it at all. I was disappointed that it wasn't funnier and more biting. But to make this anything that's meaningful, I'll tell every one of you out there anything you want to know about my life, because the things that went bad are things that go bad to other people, and I think they should know what has worked for me. What really did work for me was one of these newer breed of drug that you take every day, and after a month it starts working. And I still am on a very minor dose. At this age, there's no point in going off. But over time, it relieved my depression and anxiety, and now I can go anywhere and at any time with no fear and with joy. And that simple drug fixed my problem. The problem that I really had was that I didn't have the money to go to a professional psychiatrist who could figure that out. Once I got married and got got health insurance, then a doctor immediately, heard about my stories and said, let's try this, and it worked. Took 2-3 weeks, and it worked. Right now I take something called Seroxat. I don't know what's in it or what it is, but I take one pill every 2 days. I don't know the dosage, but it's very low. But it worked. And so if you have any mental, emotional problems, another thing that really helped me a lot was to simply talk to people. It would keep the worst of it away. Be open about it. Be who you are. And it really works. No more debilitation. And so thank you, Steve Carlson, for bringing this up. I'm not gonna go down into your swamp and tell people everything I know. It wouldn't serve anything. It would not. I don't know. It'd probably anger you and make you perhaps even humiliated. Definitely humiliated, because some of it is that ridiculous. And but who would that matter to? I'm talking to a public right now. And the important thing is that I once was asked to write about writers and mental illness. It was a book, and I was going to write a chapter, and I wrote the chapter and turned the book in, but then the publishing house was bought by another one, and I got paid $1,000 for something that was never published. They quashed the book, but they lived up to their contract. I would like it that I would have liked had it gotten. It was about this kind of thing. And it would have been better if it had been published, but, well, the $1,000 was welcome at that time. I'm also, troubled by poverty occasionally in my life. So I hope this is helpful. Any questions, I'd be glad to answer. And anybody wants me to do anything on any subject, I'm here. But from now on, it's books unless somebody asks about something else. Take care, all of you.